So we made a video on, well, not on Zionism, but asking a question about Zionism today. Um, somebody thought I had an agenda with it, and I did, and it was challenged my preconceptions because I made the video based on exactly what the question was on the video. It wasn't it was genuine video. And then before I went to release it, I felt a pang of anxiety, like oh, is this gonna get a shitstorm of hatred because there's all those terrible racists out there. I had that moment of Europeanism went through my head. I don't know what happened. Centrist went through my head, and it's that conditioning again, and matrix code, and then to think that they're all out there, and so we don't touch these subjects. It's ridiculous, right? This is exactly what fascism is to get you not talking about subject, not to, in communism. Well, they all kind of work in a similar way, surprisingly, but they making words and subjects off limits. And guess what? Guess what? I bring it up and I ask a genuine question, but yeah, with a small agenda, and that is to challenge my own preconceptions of being so worried that it was going to cause a shitstorm of hatred. And guess what? All and even then, the things I had to deal with weren't bad. All but two comments, where I had to remove one person and just ask the other person, there was people from the Jewish community and from other communities that were just coming on, giving me their opinion to the question I'd asked about Zionism and on the way. And it was brilliant. Nobody was getting on each other's back, and in general, like I say, 98, 99%, just a really healthy conversation where nearly all the comments are all healthy. Whichever side of the aisle they're on, everybody was just giving their opinion. No wars, no flame wars, nothing. None of the hatred that I was almost conditioned to believe would happen, because you're almost taught that these words are like genies in a bottle, and if you rub this word, something bad's going to happen. I mean, it's only something bad's going to happen if, one, you make it happen, and therefore you're sort of responsible for that, or if you have bad intentions. But I've always tried to explain to people, if your intentions are good and you thoughtful and you handle things right, then you should be able to talk about anything. This is exactly, people talk about what our forefathers fought for. They fought for the right to be able to talk about anything, not have words and things like that. Made so toxic that we can't talk about them sensibly, like adults. Everyone wants to talk about talking like adults, and then can't talk like adults. Just when you mention one word, Zionism, or and somebody accused me of having like I say, an agenda, and I've already told you what the agenda was. But I think I think they thought this was gonna pop a big surprise at the end of it, and I was gonna declare my racism after all. What on earth? I've never, ever, ever, ever given people a reason to think that, ever. I hate people when they say anybody that knows me, but that applies to me. Literally anybody that knows me just understands. I'm just not who I am. So no, there was no agenda like that. There's no coming out party for me. At the same time, I'm not going to keep hate on this word ethno-national either, because I also understand it, as I've tried to explain in previous videos. I'm not going to call myself one either, because I still don't fully understand what it means, but it seems to encompass an awfully large range of people. Some people who I definitely don't like, because they have some views about a certain Austrian painter that I absolutely don't agree with. But also a lot of other people that are on a massive scale. And I bring that up as well because that's another word that has been made so toxic that the meaning has been lost. really we should come up with new words for different things, and ethnonationalism itself needs to be broken up into sections, because the ranging beliefs between them, it seems to me, are massive. I remember back in the days when we were talking to them all the time, and you would have ethno-nationalists coming on all the time that had such different views from each other. So it's not, you can't put them all in one pile, because they literally don't agree with each other. So how can you? So there's a range of beliefs. So that's why these things need to be talked about, so you understand nuance, so you understand if there's nuance and how much of it, and all these words and things that we run away from, we need to go straight headlong into and find out if they're good, if they're bad, what they mean, and don't run away from them. Don't be triggered by them. Don't if we're rational, and scientific in our approach, then we're going to head straight into these things. And if they're bad, we'll find out pretty damn quickly, won't we? And then we know, avoid, avoid, avoid. But we got to stop treating words as being anything more than they are, words that we can just trample on if they're useless. And we have to go over subjects, go through subjects, and not keep being afraid of them. So if my agenda is anything, it's that. It's certainly not to cause war, not to cause division. I hope, again, it's called Zionism, help me understand and change it. I hope that serves as an example what this community can be, when people who don't agree come on and just leave their opinion and go, and don't flame war each other or get on each other's back. I thought it was absolutely brilliant that people did that, and that is an example of how people could have that conversation, even on a place like YouTube, and 98 to 99% of them could come on, no hate, leave, regardless of which side of the aisle they were on. It didn't matter. They came on, left their opinion, and went. No attacking each other. That was their choice. I put a note on later on asking them not to, but I didn't need to. They'd already made the choice not to. I just, once we'd got that far, I wanted to reinforce it, because it was, again, challenge my preconceptions. So again, if you think there's an agenda and I come out at the end of this saying, oh, I'm an ethno-national, again, when I don't even really understand the full meaning of the word, no, there's no big agenda here. There is literally asking about this word that I've heard for so many years, and people giving me an answer, and other people wanting to turn that into something bigger than it is. Thank you so much for coming out there and proving to everybody that a normal conversation can be had amongst adults, and so it should be at our ages, and so it should be. I'm sorry this is such a long video, but so we should be having these kinds of conversations sensibly. We should be able to bring these words up, and we should be able to talk about them sensibly, understand their meanings fully. Because I know, so from talking to so many people out there, so many people don't understand this even less than I do. So other people out in the movement that I speak to, they don't understand any better than I do. So it's not like I'm bringing something up and trying to fake naivety. There's so many people that understand it just as less as I do. Some people understand it more as well, but yeah, some people, sorry, I say just as less, that doesn't make sense. People understand it just as little as I do, or even less. So yeah, what's wrong with asking it? And that's what I realized, and I realized I was afraid of asking it because other people had put that thought in my head rather than myself putting that thought in my head, and I didn't trust people to come on there and give adult answers, and that was wrong of me, because nearly everybody did come on there and deal with it exactly the way you would hope they would. So thank you for that. Sorry I doubted anybody. That was on me. So yeah, if anybody had an agenda, I was wrong in my assumption, and I'm glad that I challenged it. Thanks for proving me wrong and right at the same time. I'm Tom Fury. This is your news. Calling it a day for now.